Welcome to this episode of Case Closed. I'm Tracy Turner and I'll be talking about the case of Christina Paolilla. Christina grew up in Houston and people often described her as quiet and somewhat withdrawn. She faced challenges growing up, including bullying and feeling like she didn't belong. Despite this, she was known to be smart and creative in many ways. But however, as she got older, life began to change for her in negative ways. When she was 17, Paolilla became involved with drugs. This decision would have a major impact on her future. She also started dating Christopher Sender, who was 22 years old, and the two shared a serious drug addiction. Their relationship was unhealthy and centered around substances and drug abuse, which made their situation even more dangerous. On July 18, 2023, a terrible crime took place in Clear Lake City, a suburb near Houston. Inside the home were four young people that were found dead. The victims were Tiffany Rowell, Rachel, James Carson, and Christopher Mayer. All of them were friends or acquaintances of Paolilla. The crime scene was shocking and the cases quickly gained attention. At first, investigators had very little evidence to go on. There were no immediate suspects and the case remained unsolved for time. Families or victims that were left searching for answers and justice. As the investigation continued, police began uncovering connections between Paolilla and the victims. Witnesses reported seeing her with them around of the time of the crime. Over time, more information came out that suggested Sander had gone into the house that night, possibly for drugs. What exactly happened is still fully not known. It is believed that the situation turned violent very quickly. After the crime, Ms. Paolilla did not stay in one place. She changed her appearance, moved around, making it harder for law enforcement to find her. For about 2 years, she managed to avoid being caught. During this time, this case remained open. Investigators continued to gather evidence. In 2005, authorities made it able to arrest Christina Paolilla. Her arrest brought some relief to the victims' families. Wow. But the case was far from over. The trial would take place a few years later and will reveal more details about what happened. In 2008, Paolilla went to trial. Prosecutors argued that she played a major role in the murders and that the crime may have been connected to drugs and possibly revenge. The defense took place to raise questions about the evidence, but not in the end. The jury found her guilty in capital murders. Instead of receiving a death penalty, Paolilla was sentenced to life in prison. This means she would spend the rest of her life behind bars without possibly being on parole. For many years, this sentence relieved that the seriousness of crimes. Her boyfriend, Christopher Sander, who was also believed to be involved, however, he was never put on trial because of how he died of drug overdose in 2006. His death left unanswered questions about the case and admit that not for everyone was involved and was able to face justice in court. This case is often remembered not just because of how tragic it was, but because of the lessons it showed. It highlighted how dangerous and drug addicts can be and how it can influence people to make terrible decisions. It also shows the relationship and peer pressure that can play in someone's act. Condolences to the families who lost family members due to this situation.